All right, guys. So this is about test anxiety, and it's specifically for college students, but I suppose this would apply to high school students and even middle schoolers if you really want to get technical on it. Now, during my sophomore year of college, seems things seemed to be going smoothly at first. However, I think like in 2 months in, I was down to about a D in my first computer science class, my first Java class, rather, not my first computer science class. And what had happened was that I just couldn't keep up. There was a few things that I didn't quite get. I don't know if it was just how the output was of certain code or just missing the lines or figuring out how to code certain things. But let me tell you this, it didn't seem to work with me. The way I learned it, like I just could not get, I just couldn't understand it in a classroom environment. And when the tests came, when the second test came, I just I failed. I got an F. That was like I got an F, and definitely dissuaded me from becoming a computer scientist, an actuarial scientist, and 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 I really thought I would be an actuarial scientist. So it definitely dissuades you from becoming certain things. The way this education is set up, and I think I could have done a better job, um, learning this on my own, and I really tried to as well before I took it, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't get it with certain codes, and I was like in my friend's dorm at the time. It's like I just couldn't get it, and then I panicked right before the final and somehow still got a D after all of that. But it was just not the way I wanted to learn. You know, it like I felt bad for just doing it my all, and I tried to, and I put it in as the the letter. Okay, the way it was set up, the letter that if you get a C, yeah, it doesn't count toward you on your report card, or oh my god, your transcripts, your transcripts. God, geez, it was not the yeah, couldn't find it. All right, so anyway, continuing on, um, I went into more of the business field. I knew like coding was not going to work out for me, and then that was that. And I graduated with a BS in economics and a minor in uh, business administration. So BS in economics, minor in business. Uh, yeah, yeah, it was a bunch of BS, honestly, to put it lightly. And then like about the first year out of college, I learned some HTML and CSS stuff, and it was much easier to do than Java. Even JavaScript worked better than all that. So I think it was also the way it was structured. It was just not what we were doing. And I also never saw any examples of how people were doing this, on a day job, like programming music players and computers or actual devices of how it could be done. That would have also worked well. Like I want to like see this up front too, but I think the best thing that could have happened for me was that if I learned from a mentor, which is the next part of this. So with all that anxiety of just like being afraid to fail and just like not doing your assignments well enough, um, it gets to it. It makes you feel like a failure. The way the school system is, the way college is, even middle school, and it's not optimal that we do this. I mean, I've said this before on my YouTube channel. we need to rethink how we're doing this, how we're educating kids, because I think, finding apprenticeships and getting a mentor for yourself is the best thing you can do. And I had to pay like $300 for my business mentor, and so far it seems to be working out well. It's but man, there are definitely days when I think I could have been something different, and had I actually, been guided along correctly, it could have been very different. And I do think that if I had a proper high school teacher to teach me this in a traditional classroom, I would have been much better off. But that unfortunately never happened. Now, to you, I'll get off the computer science rant now. To you, if you are feeling anxiety about your next test, or can't, or feel incompetent for not completing a project correctly, don't take that too seriously. I mean, pass with what you can do in the of what you can do, and if you're not going to be optimal in every subject. I mean, even the nerds fail gym. Even the nerds fail gym. I'll just say that. Or actually, no, that's a joke. All you have to do is show up to gym, and you'll get an A. But like like that phrase is just like, everyone's going to have their weaknesses in school as well. I do think that we could definitely just get more of a community setting to school that would certainly aid some of these problems. Definitely go to, get like maybe 14 students together at once, have them go to do some exercise in the morning. Then you would go into some math and science and everything. And maybe you should have class outside. Think about that. Like, we always wanted class outside, like English class outside, but math, I think, was a little bit more trickier to do because you actually had to have the whiteboard. But definitely, that is one thing we can do to help aid this test anxiety as well. But definitely don't be afraid. But definitely, it would also be all right to take the test inside, and preferably do it inside. But definitely if you're a teacher, take this. Here's my suggestion: get your kids out in the open more often. Do not let them sit in their desks, because they're going to be less likely to get engaged. They're not going to feel as confident in themselves. So the more they're moving their body, the more likely they'll be engaged with you. And also, be present as well. Look at everyone, and even to the students that you don't want to. So just like scan the room every now and then, so to keep them engaged. And I do figure that it's hard to teach 30 students. My computer science class had 40, and it's hard. I know. The SATs, I'll say this about the SATs. I didn't do so well on the SATs. In fact, I think it's just a miracle how I got into college through that. And even the ACTs, I didn't do so well on. And it's not a good indicator for measuring how well a student is going to do. I think the fact that, we're testing that with these tests, the tests themselves are outdated, no doubt, but there's got to be a way you can restructure this as well, or just break this up into individual tests as well. if it needs to be done at all. In fact, I would argue not to go to college at this point and to pick up a skill or teach yourself how to do web design and web development and that sort of stuff, or just learn to start a digital business and actually work on Fiverr or Upwork. And you can make, yeah, you actually can make 70 grand a year, but your odds are you're probably not going to, or at the very least, not right away. You can definitely build up to that point, and there are definitely people who have made 500 grand on Upwork in like a year, but you definitely need time for that, and you definitely should get a mentor or get someone on a Zoom call or something if you want to go that route. But the best test you can give to a child, a young adult, is set them up with an apprenticeship, and slowly but surely that mentor can give them more responsibilities as they progress. And everyone's going to be a little different. Some may need a little more time to get the concept. And I think if we learned that one-on-one, if I had learned something like that one-on-one, I would have been better off. And I think everyone else would be better off too. And let them try a bunch of different things too. At 18 years old, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I don't expect any 18-year-old to know what they want to do for the most part. There are exceptions to this. There are YouTubers who are knocking it out of the park. But for someone just growing up in like a small town or in a suburb or something, trying to finish up high school, they don't know what they want, and they still have to ask permission to go to the bathroom, even when they're consenting adults. Some of these people, even when I was 18, senior in high school, I had to get permission from from other adults to go to the bathroom. And then when I got to college the same year, I could just walk out of the lecture hall and then just come back. And yeah, so it's very weird how we do this. But if you're feeling anxious at all, maybe school is not right for you. And I don't say that lightly. I'm serious, because if you are getting anxious over failing something that's not real world or real life application, I think that's the biggest failure that we have caused, making people feel less than what they are, rather than trying to elevate them. And tests, and the way schools test, it's horrible. It's horrible. And I would hopefully I want more apprenticeships, certainly in the computer science space as well. And so I'll leave you with this after this very long video. Find a mentor. If it's what you want to do and you need a college degree for it, just pay for it as cheaply as possible and try and complete it within a timely manner. And that's all. And if you don't know, what you want to do, work part-time at like a diner or something, and explore some options. And that'll do it for this YouTube video. If you liked what you heard here, please consider sharing, subscribing, and liking this video. Peace out. Thank you once again.